students, faculty, administration, and members of the community. My name is Amy Langley, Fine Arts Instructor, and on behalf of the Cultural Arts Committee, I thank you for your presence tonight. Whether you are live or virtual, we are honored that you are here. The purpose of this event is to premiere the fall film Small Town Prisoner. Traditionally, the fall play has been a live event. COVID has changed the way we do many things this year, and this film is just one example. For many instructors here, the pandemic has given us the opportunity to think outside the box, try new things, and has given us time to create and explore the talents which led us to choose our profession. This film is a culmination of all these things. Tonight, we will hear from the author of Small Town Prisoner, Amanda Garvin. This will be followed by the film premiere. Christoper Schager, the film director, and his students will be available afterward for questions. I want to add that the music for Small Town Prisoner was written and performed by Chris Dunn, campus country director and fine arts instructor. It is a very homegrown production. I also want to thank Dr. Ray Harris for owning the sound and video, and Michael Miller for recording and broadcasting. Please wait for the QR code that will be presented at the end of the presentation. It will be sent to you. It will send you a survey where you can document your attendance. We invite everyone to complete the surveys, especially those of you who are wanting extra credit for your teachers. You will scan the code like you are taking a picture. A link will pop up and you will take the survey. Amanda Garvin is a 24-year veteran teacher at NEMCC. She currently teaches creative writing and writing for publication to creatively bless students at Northeast. She earned her associate's degree at NEMCC and her bachelor's degree at Delta State University. She earned her master's degree at the University of North Alabama and is currently finishing her doctorate at Delta State University. She is a board member and former teacher of Prison Rights Initiative, a member of New Hope Church, where she is the church clerk, a lifetime member of the Girl Scouts of America, where she has served as both student and leader to 2 Gold Award troops. Amanda has published in areas of academic writing, poetry, fiction, and nonfiction prose, and is a lifelong writer. She is a proud great-granddaughter of George Bullard, for whom her screenplay is written. Amanda resides in Boonville with her son Aiden, daughter Audrey, and husband Derek. She is the daughter of Elder Benny and Beverly Lowry Barcham. Hello. We are here to honor the legacy of George Bullard and his life in Prentiss County, specifically Boonville. I only personally knew my great-grandfather for the first 5 years of my life, though he made an impression that stayed with me. His eldest daughter, Inez, whom I called Nani, was my nearest neighbor until her death after I was well into my 30s and had my spouse and 2 children living in a home across from her, and also next door to my parents. George's second daughter, Eliza Belize, was my grandmother, who lived one house over during my childhood and adulthood. His third daughter, my great aunt Sandra, 3 years, my mother's senior, helped rear me. I've had her my whole life, and I still have her now. Sandra's youngest sister, Wanda, with a doctorate in special education, went out into the world and used Boonville and her family as her home base. She always checked in and took notes and had the best adventures to come back and tell us all. It was my Aunt Wanda that wrote the stories down of George Bullard of Boonville and flew her wings to adventurous places and met amazing people, but it was Sandra, Belize, and Nani who stayed and planted the roots for the rest of the Bullard family. Though the last name died with each marriage and with my sweet Aunt Wanda, lost to us much too soon, The stories of George Bullard remain through the written word and through the personalities of his amazing daughters and his amazing grandchildren and his amazing great-grandchildren and their children. I am an English major by trade. I am a mediocre writer. I am many things, both good and bad. I'm definitely, without a doubt, a Bullard. If you've ever known one, consider yourself blessed to have endured us. We will either adopt you or banish you. It depends highly on how you've treated animals and family. Nothing else matters to our breed. We can say what we want to each other, but nobody messes with the Bullard outside of the family. For instance, when I was about 6 years old, I wrote my sister Angela, 5 years my elder, a most incendiary letter to express what I was feeling toward her. I used our fine family stationery with a high-quality ink pen. My sister had annoyed me, and I decided to write her a formal estimation of my feelings. Dear Angela, comma, you are a Buthole, period. Signed, comma, Mandy. Before my letter was delivered, my grandmother, George Bullard's second daughter, caught me. I thought I was in trouble. She took the letter from the table and she looked sternly at me and she said, "Are you trying to call your sister a bad name?" I remember in my passionate state answering her more in certainty than fear, "Yes, ma'am." Though the size of a mere hobbit, I stood there as defiant yet dignified as I could as the baby of the family, with my will implanted through me from the top of my head to my feet on the floor. I was adamant that my sister get well when she had coming. My grandmother, better known to me as Mama Bill, said to me, "Well, honey, I understand that. I have an older sister too, but you can't give it to her in this condition. You've misspelled it. It's Buthole. It has 2 T's. She helped me correct it. And that's possibly where the English major in me started. You see, I was never taught my emotions nor my ineptitudes were flawed, but my delivery, especially if written, needed refining. I'm still refining them today. I'm of the opinion now, in my 45th year of life, that I will forever be refining myself, my writing, and that this is an improper endeavor to which there is no end, save death. Always keep refining, redrafting, and learning. This is the way. If you've ever met George Bullard or any of his many offspring, then you know one thing. We love people. We trust people. We gamble on humanity. And all of us have made our living working with other people and entrusting ourselves and our well-being to humanity. George taught us that. What is there to lose? You might also have ventured to see that all the Bullards are in some way a little bit crazy. We own that too. It makes us more human. George also taught us that if someone ever messes with your family, you set your boundaries and you prove yourself. That hasn't changed. I love my cousins, their offspring, and that is taught from George's trusting way. He is a common denominator of the good that we have brought forward. The men in the family might tell you George wasn't perfect, but I bet you would never have the nerve to say that to one of George's girls. My great Aunt Wanda knew George was special. She took the time to write down her memories of her father. There were so many good deeds, funny bits, so much to pore over. I could spend a whole evening talking to you about George and his stories that were left to me. Instead, I chose the one story that Reader's Digest, New Yorker Magazine, The Moth, and famous author George Dawes Green picked up to the betterment of humanity. Small Town Prisoner. They say Shakespeare wrote his best work during the plague. Apparently, I too get good ideas in the boredom of a March spring break pandemic. I sat down to rewrite Wanda's narrative story about George into a one-act play, and then I phoned a friend. Christoper Schager answered and said, "I'll do one better, make it a screenplay, and let me go ask around."
The next thing I knew, the project was rolling. Dr. Sasser gave the go-for-go launch. My son Aiden completed storyboards. Schager was casting actors. Renee Pulliam was creating and researching 1960s decor and wardrobe. And my precious former students and current students and dear friends from Oxford were on board for a wonderful journey to make a work of art about an old man who did a stupid but dastardly daring act in Boonville, Mississippi, once upon a time. George Bullard decided to use the ageism that was his to know, to trust humanity, and to trust his own judgment about people. What I had imagined for myself as a creative writing assignment on form adaptation turned into a wonderful journey that Northeast Mississippi Community College has been able to bring to my family and my community and friends to enjoy. I am ever grateful to Christoper Schager, George Kehoe and the gang, my grand and wonderful family members, and my Northeast Burke family for not kicking me out, but to see me as George Bullard and the rest of the Bullards saw me, as a work that needs refining, requiring only love. I have enjoyed and loved this journey with a living and thriving art form, the telling of a true story about humanity and ageism. Special thanks to the Cultural Arts Committee for your unwavering support, and to all those who listed in the credits and at the end of the film. My cup runneth over, and my family is grateful to you all. If I can leave you all with a quote that George would have loved, don't mess with the elderly. Life in prison is much less a deterrent than it used to be. Thank you.
I sure am glad that Dad retired from the Board of Aldermen. For one thing, we won't be hearing the phone constantly ringing at night from the fire department. I was really getting tired of him waking me up in the middle of the night just to take him to a house fire. I know being fire commissioner was something that he loved, but I really am glad that he's going to be home more and I'm going to be driving him around less.
Well, you'll still have to pick him up from work any night that he's out after dark, but most evenings he'll be home by 5.
He's 75 years old. What's he doing going in and get another job? I thought this was supposed to be a real retirement, so why would he go and get another job?
He would miss the camaraderie of the boys down at the police department and the fire department. They're letting him answer phones a few days a week down at the police station. Lord knows how they're paying him. It's only a temp job. Don't get all worked up about it. Just help me clean up. Would you rather he be here with us, bossing us around all day, when his mind's still as sharp as ever?
Well, maybe. Did you say 5 o'clock?
Yes, but he drove himself there, so he'll likely drive himself home. Meantime, have you spoken to your sister?
Which one? I have 3 older sisters.
Sandra, Willis and Inez keep to themselves. Maybe it's just strange having a stepmother that's so close to their own age.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird that Willis has a daughter and she's older than me.
It's more like my older sisters are my aunts. Do you reckon people think that's weird? I mean, I'm Beverly's aunt and I'm younger than her.
You know, I never cared what people thought, and you shouldn't either. When I married George, I was younger than him, but he wanted both of you girls after his first wife passed, and he loves all 4 of you girls dearly, and we have never regretted a minute of it.
Good point. I'll care less what people think. I'm going to go ahead and take my sandwich with me. I'm meeting Sandra to pick up her and Tori so we can go to the movies later. It's Sandra's day off.
All right, then.
Be safe.
Hello, Booneville Police Station. Yes, ma'am. Well, hi, Mrs. Putnam. How are you? Yes, ma'am. Again. What? Calm down, Mrs. Putnam. There's a cat in your yard. Yes, ma'am. I will. I'll have somebody come over and take care of that for you. Yes, ma'am. Very quickly. Hold tight. Bye. You boys doing all right out there?
Roger, George. We're out here.
Good. Listen, there is a stray cat over at Mrs. Putnam's, and she said she is tired of it getting into her petunias, so one of you needs to go over there and take that cat out of her yard. And just take it on over to my house. Wanda and Carmen will feed it, and I could use a good mouse catcher. Copy that?
10-4, Mr. Bullard. We're on it.
Oh, hi, George. No, don't get up. Don't get up. Look, we're real proud you could come in today and help us out. I'm short-handed and late for a meeting with the mayor. You got everything you need?
Yes, sir. I'm all set.
All right. Oh, before I go, there's a prisoner in the back. Just call the boys on the radio if he gives you any trouble.
A prisoner?
Yeah, they brought him in last night. All right, I'll see you at 5 if I'm not back sooner.
Right. Bye, Chief. Hey, say hi to the mayor for me, would you?
Will do, George. Will do.
Son, what's this say your name is? Say, son. Say, son, I can't read your file with my spectacles. They need some fine-tuning. What's it say they nabbed you for?
Drunk and disorderly, sir.
Well, is that right? Right here in Booneville. Don't you know you're supposed to act that way inside and not outside?
I guess I was drinking too much, though.
Oh, I see. Well, where you from? I don't know you. And I know just about everybody in this town.
20 miles north in Corinth. That's where I live.
Well, that makes more sense to me now. Son, have they fed you yet? It's nearly lunchtime.
No, sir.
Well, I'm going to run next door and get us some burgers. And then we can have ourselves a good chat. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Don't run up on me. Go, son. Ah, here you are. Now there's some mustard and ketchup packets in that bag. I didn't know what you liked on your burger. I'm getting a little up there in years, and sometimes I forget to ask. I'm still sharp, though. About some things, especially about people.
Thank you, sir. I'm not picky.
Yep. Oh. Yeah, these dough burgers they sell are pretty good. I like the ones across town, but I like these here too.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed.
Well, tell me, son, you get into a lot of trouble?
No, sir. This is my first time in jail.
Is that so? Well, you know, this is the first time I've worked in the police station when they've actually had a prisoner. How about that?
So I'm your first.
Well, you sure are. All the way from Corinth, you say. How'd you get down here?
I drove a blue Chevrolet.
I see.
Yes, sir.
I see. You've been here since last night. Why hasn't someone come to get you yet?
Well, I have a $200 fine.
And no one to pay it?
I would ask my dad, but if only I could ask him in person. I don't know what he'd think if I called him from the Boonville jail.
I see. There's a napkin for you, son. There.
Thank you.
Well, let's just say, if I was to turn you loose, do you think you could go get your money and bring it back here before closing?
Well, Mr. Bullard, I would, but they impounded my car. My car is impounded.
And you said it was a blue Chevrolet?
Yes, sir. They impounded it.
No, they didn't impound it. It's parked outside right beside mine. Let me see if I can find the keys. Now that's a Chevy key. Here, let me get the trash.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
I can recycle these bottles. Yep, I bet this one will unlock your cell door. Oh, there you go. All right, look at me. I want you to go to that car, here are your keys, and I want you to go to your father and ask him for the $200 and bring it back here.
Yes, sir. I will. Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, and one more thing. If I was going to ask my dad for $200, I think I'd go ahead and ask him for $5 more and get myself a doggone haircut.
Oh, hello, Mr. Bullard.
Yes, sir. Have you had a nice day?
Well, I'm proud you boys are back and safe. I was getting lonely in here.
Wait, Mr. George, we had a prisoner in that cell. Where is he?
He must have had someone come and get him.
No, he didn't. I turned him loose.
You what?
What would you do that for, Mr. Bullard?
So he could go get his fine and come pay it.
What are we going to tell the chief? Mr. George Bullard, the kindest man I know, is going to get fired.
No, the chief loves Mr. Bullard. I think I got it. All we got to do is take the paperwork, rip it up, act like we never arrested him in the first place.
All right, boys, 5 on the dot. The next shift's coming in. Go ahead and sign out. Unless there's a problem. What's the problem?
Oh, they just a fretting on account of I turned the prisoner loose.
Well, if the mayor tries to punish George, we'll just remind him that George Bullard helped him get elected. He wouldn't even be mayor if it weren't for Mr. George Bullard. Tell me, what did he say to make you do it?
Why, nothing. It was my idea. I told him to go to his car, go get his money, come back and pay the fine.
What makes you think he'll do that, Mr. Bullard?
Because he told me he would.
George, I don't know what to say to that, so I'm not going to say anything. Why don't you just go on home and me and the boys will stay?
No, I'm going to stay right here until he comes back and pays.
Well, it might be a mighty long wait.
There you go. That's $200.
Who are you?
I'm the guy you locked up last night. I'm here to pay my fine. Can I have a receipt? Oh, and sorry I'm late. There was a long line for that haircut.
So long, George.
Whoops. Almost forgot my bottles. Say, Chief, do you know you can recycle these?
Proud to have produced this film during the challenge of COVID-19 and so grateful that our school was behind us. We all rose to the challenge, or to quote former mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, never waste a crisis. Let me be clear about our college's effort at our cultural cultivation during this COVID crisis. Our playwright, Amanda Garvin, and instructor at Northeast, wrote the script, and her son Aiden played in the movie as well. Vice President Craig Sasser and Ramsey Hall assisting us with funds and resources. Dr. Ray Harris, our fine and dedicated Northeast chair, who has never-ending patience and support, especially in our pivot towards film. Patrick Eaton and Tiffany Johnson assisting us with our Northeast Theater Foundation funds, the use of this Hines Hall stage and bed and breakfast across the street. Chris Dunn, our campus country director, composed the musical score. Steve Miller, our Sodexo hero over in the cafeteria, helped me design this set. How about that, Chad? It was on this stage. We built the whole thing, yeah? Our students building it during stagecraft class, all right? Our students creating props, paperwork, and logistics during the theater fundamentals class. Justin Holbrook served as producer and hair designer for the piece, raise your hand, right, to help us out. Dan Marsh, who's an alum up there in Corinth, was the police chief of Northeast. And Northeast Funds, Northeast Foundation funds, and administrative help. And of course, our Northeast students acting and working the grips during the film, getting hands-on experience. Once again, just guys, raise your hand for me. Melissa Hart, Montana Bates, Declan Powers, Michael Cooper, Justin Holbrook, and our student from high school, Aiden Garvin. He's not a real person yet. When he comes here, he'll be a real person. And we wish to continue to produce at least one small film a year. So I'm announcing tonight, our theater department will be shooting Jason Milligan's Miss Ida's Magic, directed by Melissa Hart, right here. And of course, we will be behind her shooting, working the grips on March 19th and 20th, right here on the stage. And it is our hope that with it is our hope that with the NEMCC plan of maximum usage with our technology to begin to shoot student-created films using only iPads and iPhones from our college's academic mission. We believe this will enhance our fine arts program as well as the offer theater department a viable option in these times of strict social distancing. Having said that, our mission will be infinitely cheaper as technology changes, and the Apple people can throw whatever technology they believe is useful for us to shoot our films. Did you hear that, Mac people? Whatever technology you want to throw at us. So I'll leave you now with the challenge, parents and students. If you've got future Northeast friends, relatives, sons, daughters, or are interested in film, please come see us at the Northeast Theater Department. Thank you. I've got these individuals up on stage. Of course, if you have any questions for them shooting film, I want to get their names out there. But if you have any questions at all about them shooting or their experience, please feel free to ask. No pressure.
Did you have fun?
Did you have fun?
Did you guys have fun? Sorry.
I prefer nothing.
You prefer nothing.
See me after class.
We did it in 3 days.
Wow. Months and months of preparation, but as far as shooting, just because of the schedule, we did everyone's exposure, so we made sure we scheduled everyone's time, so there's, like we said, everything was shot in less than groups of 10. So there was limited exposure and everything was done in 2 days.
And we COVID everything, every day, every shot, all the scenes.
So how long was the unedited before you cut it down to 20 minutes?
It's about 35 minutes of all this different extra stuff. We took 15 minutes off. But we really didn't get to shoot as much as we liked.
Well, I don't have a question, but I have a dear thank you. The story is about my family, and it was absolutely wonderful. You guys did a great job.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming to our program. We really appreciate it. When you guys leave, please be sure that you pick up some of your students or alternative students looking for credit. Please pick this up so we can mark you on our electric devices, our platforms, all that. Thank you. Thank you very much.